I think that if you want to characterize crypto universe, you have one thing, Bitcoin, which is the dominant trillion-dollar crypto asset network. In addition to the digital transformation of the world, which says communications and coding are really important, there's a digital transformation of balance sheets. And the single biggest truth in the world is that 7.8 billion people are using toxic currency to store their value. And what they need to do is convert their treasuries from a toxic currency, which is losing 15% or more of its economic energy every year, to a perfected safe haven asset, of which the best in the world is Bitcoin. So convert your family treasury to Bitcoin, convert your personal treasury to Bitcoin, convert your company to Bitcoin. If you have an endowment, convert that to Bitcoin. If you run a city, convert that to Bitcoin. It's a very simple idea, which is you have the strongest asset in the world. You can't make any more of it. One day, billions of people will want to own it. They've all got to squeeze through this one nozzle. Every day, you can buy $1 billion, $2 billion of it. It's a bank in cyberspace. If you're holding $1 million in cash, you're losing 150,000 a year, or you lost 250,000 this year in purchasing power. It's just melting away. And so everybody on earth needs to figure out, how do I convert or digitally transform my balance sheet from something which is debasing to something which is accreting? And once you understand that idea, then it becomes pretty clear what else you want to do with your life, because there's a million other things that follow from it, that'll keep you busy once you get that big idea. So for example, if you want to be laser-like in your focus and effectiveness, you got to think two things: focus and frequency. What is the right focus and what is the right frequency? So in terms of making economic decisions, I think the right frequency is annually, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10 years. Look at blocks of time like that. Looking at the frequency and the volatility and the returns or metrics on assets by the minute, by the hour, by the day, by the week, or by the month, even by the quarter, are all kind of noisy. Likewise, I wouldn't look at 100,000 little minute assets. I would look at $1 trillion blocks. So there's $1 trillion worth of Bitcoin. It's up 582% over a year and 200% on average. Compound annual growth rate, 200% for a decade. Those are two numbers that are valuable. There's 10 trillion in gold. It's up 2% this year and 2% on average every year for a decade. Just stop right there. That's a big insight. You can measure 1 million statistics of Bitcoin and gold, every second. They don't matter. What matters is one thing is appreciating at 2% a year and the other is appreciating at 200% a year. Now, what about 6,500 other cryptocurrencies? Irrelevant. They're not $1 trillion. Okay, the S&P is $32 trillion, up 39% this year, up 11% on average every year for a decade. Well, what do I think about 5,000 publicly traded companies? Irrelevant. I mean, maybe I can have an opinion on the $1 trillion ones: Apple, Amazon, Google, Microsoft, maybe. But, you want to pitch me 50 million ventures? Irrelevant. 50 million small companies? Irrelevant. 89 million small pieces of real estate? Irrelevant. The big ideas are NASDAQ, big tech is beating S&P. It's up 57% year over year. It's beating S&P for a decade. It's 17% for a decade. If you buy a portfolio of bonds, they were getting 4.2% a year for a decade. This year, they got destroyed. They're minus 16%. Okay. That's all you need to know. Bottom line, bonds don't hold value. Big tech does hold value. S&P is the value index. It's the cost of capital. Gold, is breaking down and being destroyed because it's an antiquated elitist store of value. It's a disaster. Don't buy gold, sell your gold. Bitcoin is the world's first digital gold on the world's first global digital monetary network. It's a paradigm shift, the first idea in 5,000 years. It's compressed air. It's electricity. It's hygienic running water. It's something new and different. If you don't understand it, then you should go and study it. You should study it because it is, in essence, strong money on a crypto network. And there's no reason it can't flip gold and go to 10 trillion and then replace most debt as a store of value and go to 100 trillion. And if it does, it's going up by a factor of 100. And if you miss it, it will be the greatest opportunity of your lifetime, and you will have missed it because you were too lazy to do the work. So it's like when we invent electricity, or automobiles, I'm sure someone said it's just a fad. What communication networks, newfangled devices. I'm not putting water in my house. Why would I want running water in my house? What if a pipe burst? New ideas. Not going to get on that airplane. New idea. Everybody thinks they love technology, but they like technology, when it's TikTok. They like little safe technology, Snapchat technology. Okay, now some real technology showed up. This technology made your money obsolete. Okay, that's a scary idea. You get one chance in your life to embrace a big technology. The technology is a digital monetary network, which is open to the entire universe, which is 1,000,000 times better than the thing that it's replacing. You figure that out, and then that will inform and drive every one of your portfolio and investment decisions, because it's the most profound thing that we've seen in 30 years. It's bigger than the internet, and 99% of the world still doesn't get it. They still think it's a speculative, dangerous, uncorrelated asset, and whatever. Maybe it's a tulip bubble, and you owe it to yourself to understand it's not a tulip bubble. It's monetary electricity. Well, I look at all these assets, and the real question is there something better? So there has to be something better. Like, what would make me sell Apple stock? Well, if you had a better mobile network. What would make you get negative on Amazon? Well, if there was a better retail network. What makes you get short Google? If there's a better information network. If there's something better, otherwise, and I don't see anything better, because
could Ether be better?
No, because Ether is much more complicated. It's much less mature. It's not a $1 trillion monetary network that's purpose built to be a store of value. Ether is attempted to be many other things, including the world computer and a smart contract platform. And it's going through a very rapid evolution technical cycle. So as it goes from Ether 1.0 to Ether 2.0, the entire basis of the network is going to change from proof of work to proof of stake. That introduces a whole host of questions. And so it'll be 3 to 5 years, probably 5 years after the Ether 2.0 upgrade before you can evaluate what it is. If you're a hardcore institutional investor, it's a different thing. I think that if you want to characterize crypto universe, you have one thing, Bitcoin, which is the dominant $1 trillion crypto asset network.